friends, and welcome back. On today's episode of Saturday Morning Chats, we are going to be talking about decluttering. And I'll give some specific things that you can do towards the end of the podcast. But first, let me give an introduction to decluttering and talk a little bit about why we want to go ahead and engage in this process. So, when I mean declutter, I'm not just talking about closets and drawers. Of course, I mean that. But when I'm talking about decluttering, I'm actually talking about decluttering your life. And that entails more than just cleaning out a closet or a desk drawer or a junk drawer. I don't know if you're like me. I have one in my kitchen, and sometimes I'm rummaging through there like, what is this? What does this even belong to, or where did it come from? But I'm afraid to throw it out. We all need to do that, but I'm talking about this bigger overarching concept of decluttering your life. And so that also entails simplifying your processes, getting rid of things that no longer serve you. That could even include some relationships or some people that we are connected to that are no longer feeding us. I've had people in my life that I stay connected to for, just all kinds of just silly reasons, because maybe I felt sorry for them, or maybe I felt like they didn't have anybody else in their life. And the altruistic reason is very good, but at the same time, you have to weigh how much is it costing you, because if it's really costing you something, then it really is no benefit to them, because one is going to ruin your vibration, and if your vibration lowers, you don't really have anything to give them anyway. You'd better serve them by slowly compartmentalizing that relationship if you can't get rid of it altogether, and maybe encouraging them to get connected to someone who they're aligned with, someone that's like-minded, someone that can kind of feed their soul and spirit. That really is the best way to handle situations like that. But sometimes guilt keeps us tied to the relationship, and I've done it. I'm going to raise my hand here. But as I move further along on my journey, as I do this work, I now see that when you're doing things just out of compulsion, when you lack intention around anything, it just isn't going to serve you. There's no purpose to it. There's no benefit to it. And if there's no benefit to something, then why are we doing it? And so I kind of had to come to those sad realizations about even some people that were in my experience. So when I'm talking about decluttering, I'm talking about all of it. Just paring down your life, simplifying your processes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, as I said, towards the end. So why do we want to do it? For one, freedom. And freedom not only feels good to us, but freedom actually raises our vibration. It causes us to live on a higher plane. When we're cluttered, when we're bogged down, when we are encumbered, we are often lacking in energy. We are often lacking in creativity, things like this. I had a friend one time. She was always losing things. Every time you turn around, I can't find my this, I can't find my that. Every time you turn around. Those are often characteristics of living in a cluttered way, or living in a way where you're not free, where you're just bogged down by things. So we want that freedom. We want our vibration to raise. I said a million times, that's where your peace, your joy, your happiness, your abundance, all of those things are on those higher planes. When you're down in the lower levels of energy, we'll just call it, you're going to be on the same attraction level as things like calamity, things like accidents, things like losing things like just bad things happening to us all the time. So I've done several talks about vibration and energy. If that's a new concept for you, I will encourage you just to go back and scroll through some of my podcasts. I have just started a YouTube channel. I think there's a couple of videos up there about manifestation and vibration, but go back and familiarize yourself with that. And if you just do a Google search, tons of information will come up about vibration and energy and what all of that means. So just to give a little piece of that so the rest of the talk makes sense. So we want our freedom. When your mind is decluttered, you are more creative. You're going to be able to contribute better ideas on your job or problem solve better, even in your own home. Sometimes things come up and you have to come up with a solution. Maybe it's a situation with your kids and you have to really put on your thinking cap and figure out something. When your mind is decluttered, you have more energy, more brain capacity, more bandwidth to handle that. You have more bandwidth to handle stressful events when you are not bogged down by things. So it's just a good idea to declutter because you just are going to feel lighter, more uplifted when you're moving through life, and we all want that. So that is an intro to decluttering your life. That is a little bit of an explanation as to why you want to declutter your life. And let me give some practical things that you can do. And it's an ongoing process. I used to be on a schedule where I went through my home every 6 months and decluttered everything and cleaned out the drawers and the closets and donated. I don't do it as often as every 6 months because my life has just gotten a little bit more hectic and complicated, which is all the more reason why I should do it. But I just haven't made the time. But at least annually, I go through and get rid of things that no longer serve me. They're just looking in a drawer. And as I said before, there's a little piece of something that I have no idea what this is or what it belongs to. And I try to get rid of things like that. Clothes that I can no longer fit, I try to donate those and find a good home for those. Pantry, go through and get rid of old supplements and just, a 10-year-old box of grits. Get all that stuff out of your experience so you just have more freedom to move and you have more energy and you just feel more lighter, and more uplifted. Here's something else that you may not be thinking about that will help you move towards this particular concept of decluttering. And I just recently went through this myself. I had 100 facial products, hair products, body lotions, skin lotions. Get rid of that stuff. I have pared down my morning routine. For one, we just don't have the time and the energy for all that kind of stuff. But I have pared down my morning routine to just the basics. I have 3 products for my face. I have a toothpaste, a mouthwash, and I have another treatment that I do to help with cavities and whitening and all of that. If you guys are interested in that, let me know and I can do another talk about that. But before I had a fluoride rinse, I had a this, I had a that, I had 3 toothbrushes, I had this over here, and I was using a little bentonite clay, and I was using a little xylitol, and just all over the place. And when I looked into my drawer in my bathroom, my cabinet, just all that stuff, and I just thought, I just felt so burdened by it. And now mornings go much, much faster, much more simpler. There's something about routine. There's something about discipline, using the same product, doing the same thing the same way every time. That in and of itself is a method of decluttering. Just when you can put something on habit and on autopilot and you don't have to think about it, that frees up your brain power to do other things. So you want to start instituting routines. You want to start paring down your products. You want to start putting in systems. Something else I'm doing now is a grocery list. Instead of trying to keep track of and remember all of that, I have a system to where when it's time for me to get groceries, I can just go through and readily check off what I need, and I don't have to go through that thing like, oh, I forgot, oh, I forgot, oh, I gotta go back, oh, I don't do that. I have a system now to where that won't happen. And if by chance I'm a human being, I leave something off the list, instead of freaking out and panicking, I'm just going to move it to the next week, right? Just decluttering, just getting my brain capacity to where it can function more optimally and it's not weighed down and cluttered by all the things that we have to keep track of on a day-to-day basis. Systems, decluttering your space, simplifying your products. All those things are going to cause you to live a life that's more streamlined, more efficient. And when your life is more streamlined and more efficient, you're going to find yourself with more energy, with more creativity, with more ability to do other things. And here's a spiritual concept to decluttering and living this way. When you get rid of all of that, negative things, things that are burdenous, things that are weighing us down, when your vibration starts to raise, and it 100% will, you're going to find new and positive and good things will just automatically flood into your experience. And that is something we all want. So I'm going to challenge you to think about what I've just given you and give it 6 months. Give it 6 months of living this way, and I can 100% guarantee you're going to see positive changes emerge in your life. As life coaches, we all know this. You know, when you start working with a new client, the number one thing you get them to do is start throwing away old clothes and this and that, and you will 100% see their life start to make a transformation. It's a spiritual principle. Don't question it. Take advantage of it because it 100% works. Start getting rid of all of that stuff and see what good and positive and beautiful thing shows up in your experience. So give yourself 6 months living this way and report back to me. Go to my website and shoot me off an email and let me know, hey, Tonya, I did what you said and this is what happened to me. I would love to celebrate and partake in your joy with you on these small wins. So thanks for listening.